Suge Knight, born Marion Hugh Knight Jr. on April 19, 1965, in Compton, California, is a former music executive and the co-founder of Death Row Records. Known for his controversial and often violent reputation, Knight played a pivotal role in shaping West Coast hip-hop during the 1990s, overseeing the careers of legendary artists like Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, and Tupac Shakur. His influence on the genre, combined with his tumultuous personal and professional life, made him one of the most notorious figures in the music industry. Suge Knight's path to the music business began with his early involvement in sports. He played football in high school and later for the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. After a brief stint in the NFL as a replacement player during the 1987 players' strike, Knight shifted his focus toward the entertainment industry, initially working as a bodyguard for artists like Bobby Brown. In 1991, Suge Knight co-founded Death Row Records with rapper and producer Dr. Dre. The label quickly rose to prominence after the release of Dr. Dre's debut solo album, The Chronic, 1992. The album was a commercial and critical success, introducing the G-Funk sound and featuring breakout performances by Snoop Dogg. Death Row Records became synonymous with West Coast hip-hop, dominating the genre during the early to mid-1990s. Under Knight's leadership, Death Row signed several high-profile artists, including Snoop Dogg, the Dogg Pound, and eventually Tupac Shakur, who joined the label after Suge Knight paid his bail in 1995. Tupac's 1996 album, All Eyes on Me, became one of Death Row's most successful releases, solidifying the label's dominance in the hip-hop world. However, Suge Knight's leadership style and reputation for violence began to overshadow the label's success. Knight was known for using intimidation and strong-arm tactics in both business dealings and personal interactions. He allegedly played a role in the infamous East Coast-West Coast hip-hop rivalry that contributed to the tensions between Death Row Records and artists like Notorious B.I.G. and Sean Diddy Combs of Bad Boy Records. The peak of Death Row's success was followed by a rapid decline. In September 1996, Tupac Shakur was fatally shot in a drive-by shooting in Las Vegas while riding in a car with Suge Knight. The murder remains unsolved, but it marked a turning point for Death Row Records, which soon began to unravel. Knight was later imprisoned for violating probation related to a previous assault case, and Death Row's empire crumbled in his absence. Throughout the late 1990s and early 2000s, Knight faced numerous legal issues, including lawsuits, financial problems, and further imprisonments. In 2006, Death Row Records filed for bankruptcy, and its assets were eventually sold off. Knight's personal life was also marred by ongoing violence and conflict, contributing to his notorious public image. In 2015, Suge Knight was involved in a hit-and-run incident in Compton, California, that resulted in the death of one man and the injury of another. Knight claimed he acted in self-defense, but he was charged with murder and later pleaded no contest to voluntary manslaughter in 2018. He was sentenced to 28 years in prison. Suge Knight's legacy in hip-hop is complicated. On one hand, he was instrumental in the success of West Coast hip-hop and helped launch the careers of some of the genre's most iconic artists. On the other hand, his reputation for violence and intimidation, along with his legal troubles, have overshadowed his contributions to the music industry. While Death Row Records remains a legendary label in hip-hop history, Suge Knight's life serves as a cautionary tale about the darker side of the music business, where power, influence, and violence can ultimately lead to downfall. Despite his controversial legacy, his role in shaping the sound of 1990s hip-hop and his influence on the culture during that era remain undeniable. Comment below and follow for more celebrity updates. Stay tuned.